Today on More Organised Less Clutter, I'm talking with Nina from Mindful Parenting Lifestyle. She's a mindful parenting coach who focuses on practical, small shifts that make a big impact. She also has her own podcast, Your Calm Parenting Path. And so today I've asked her on so that she can share some strategies to help our kids get on board with household tasks, because we all need that, don't we? Welcome, Nina.
Thank you, Narelle, for having me. I'm so excited to be on your podcast.
Thank you. So let's start so people can get to know you a little bit. If you were a Barbie doll, what would be the two accessories that you would come with so people can get a little bit of insight into the things you like to do?
What a great question. I'd come with a pair of runners because I love running. So I'd have all my running gear. That's an accessory.
So you're
Sneakers.
training for a half marathon as well at the
Training for a
moment.
half marathon, yeah. So I'm 1 or 2 months into training and it's fun. I love it. And I guess my next one, oh gosh, I think it would just be like silence. It's not an accessory. Maybe headphones, noise cancelling headphones, just because I really quite enjoy sitting in the silence.
Yeah, that's a great one, actually. No one's had cancelling headphones, but yeah, that's a really good one to have. Thank you. So where are you doing your first half marathon?
No, this is not my first. This is my first since kids. So it's a very big different challenge trying to do a half marathon training when you had kids compared to when you're a free bird. So it's in Perth in October. So it's still quite a way away. But I've got arthritis, so I feel like I need to build the training up gradually and not just kind of go in all in the last month or two. So
yeah, definitely. Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
So if I was to work with you as a professional organizer over in Perth, what's an area in your home that you would love some help with?
My linen closet.
Yeah.
And the kids' toys.
Yeah.
Kids' toys is always a big one. I try and I do as much as I can, but I struggle to get rid of toys when the kids don't play with them. They might need them one day. They might play with them one day. I like this toy. I want them to play with it. So
yes. Yeah.
So linen closet was going well till my mother-in-law bought me 4 big doonas that don't fit in there. And now it's just all gone crazy.
I love linen cupboards, but the problem is most people don't realize what their sheets are or their doona covers, and they're like, I don't even know which one's which, and it's pulling them all out, relabeling it, working out like a little section for each. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Exactly. So what are your strengths that you bring to your parenting coaching that makes your service unique?
I think the coaching program that I offered is based in mindfulness. So it's not about trying to fix your children. It's not about getting them to behave in a way that you want them to. It's more about working on yourself first and figuring out why you're triggered in certain situations and why certain things that your kids do drive you up the wall, and getting a handle on that first, learning about mindfulness, being able to lower your reactivity so the things that don't matter. So you're not reacting over things that are so small. So it's kind of like a you first approach, focusing on us and how we communicate to our kids, how we relate to our kids, as opposed to they're the problem and they need to be fixed. It's more about working on.
Yeah. And I loved your example that you shared in the podcast this week from your summer holidays.
Yes.
That was really good. Do you want to touch on that? And just the fact that you realized yourself, I've stopped doing what I normally do.
Exactly.
Because we all do over summer, don't we?
We do. So I have a very strong mindfulness practice. So I did have a very strong mindfulness practice last year where every morning I was meditating. I was meditating in the car in the afternoon. And I find that really helps to ground me. It really helps me to be at a lower kind of stress level throughout the day. But then with holidays, you find that things just fall by the wayside. The kids wake you up. You don't have that consistent routine. And so my mindfulness practice really just fell out the window. And I noticed that I was getting more and more cranky over little things. And it was affecting how I was feeling, how I was going to bed. And I think I lost it over the Nintendo one day. And it was like that was the sign to say, come on, Nina, pull yourself back. You know the tools, you know how to keep yourself calm, get back into it. And so it's been a really great refresher. And so I've been doing not as much as I was doing last year because I feel like you need to ease your way back into it. So I'm gradually building up and getting my calm back and feeling good about myself again, which is good. Feels good.
Just like it's so authentic to hear like yourself and how we need a reminder every now and then, and to go, okay, I'm going to go back to this because why am I, yelling or getting agitated really easily? Then Yeah,
Yeah,
in the
and we all
past.
need that reminder. None of us is perfect, and we can have all the plans in the world to do things perfectly in inverted commas, but life gets in the way, and sometimes it doesn't fall. And I think it's accepting that in ourselves, and we're allowed to not be perfect, and we're allowed to make mistakes, and it's just how we react to those situations that is what can be the kicker, I guess.
And it's that awareness, bringing that awareness back,
Yeah,
isn't it? And going,
yeah,
okay, so what am I missing, and
yeah.
why is everything
What do I
falling
need
off
right
to the
now?
wayside? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So why is there such a big difference? So we're talking about like cleaning versus tidying, because I see this a lot when I'm going and working with families. So I do lots of toys and kids' bedrooms and things. And you find that there's like clean and tidy. And what is the big difference between that? Because I hear parents saying they don't clean their rooms, but really, is
Yeah.
that what they're required to do?
Yes. I love this question because I remember growing up that we had a very big distinction between clean and tidy, and it never seemed like it was a tough thing to distinguish between the two. But as I've got older and spoken to people, they're often clean and tidy are put in the same bucket. But as you said, they're actually quite different. So for me, tidying is clearing surfaces. It's making a space into everything is put away in the space. Everything's in its height. Whereas cleaning is all about the hygiene. It's about using anti stuff to wipe down the benches. It's vacuuming. It's getting rid of the germs and the dust. Whereas tidying is putting things away, putting things in their home. Is that clear?
Yeah, definitely. And this is the problem. Then you'll what I will find when I come in, it's like, well, there is no home. So how can the kids tidy? Because there isn't actually, oh, well, they have.
Yes.
They've just put them all in one box or one container or one pile, because to them that's tidy because they're not all over the floor now, but there's no system.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. And I think we ask our kids to clean their room, but to me, that would be giving them a cloth and a bucket of water to clean. Whereas if we want them to tidy their room, it's about putting it back where it goes. And having a place for stuff to go is going to make it easier for our kids, as opposed to we expecting them just to know that a book goes on a bookshelf. Which bookshelf, which toys go in what basket? How can we make it easier for them to tidy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So do you have some strategies that you do with parents to help with that around, the tidy cleaning and just having a messy without having then a messy room to reduce that?
Yeah. One thing I talk to about is knowing what your clean threshold is or your tidy. Sorry, I did it myself, a tidy threshold, especially in the school holidays. If knowing what kind of clutter and level of clutter that you can deal with and knowing when it's getting to that point before you need to step in to ask them to help to tidy up. I know for me, I can have a little bit of mess around, but as soon as there's no spot on the couch to sit down, that's when I'm like, we need to do something about this, guys. I guess sharing that with your kids, and as they get older, it's easier to share this kind of stuff with them, but sharing with them, this is my threshold. Okay. Now it's got to the point where we need to do something about this. And so I think giving them small chunks of tasks to do, as opposed to saying, clean up your room or put your stuff away, it's about being direct in how we ask them to do stuff, because a confused mind says no. And if we're telling our kids to clean up their room, what does that mean? So we want to say, your books go on the bookshelf. Let's put them on the bookshelf here. Now I'll do these books, you do those books. So they get a bit of practice in how they're doing it. Your toys, they go in this basket. So let's put them over here in this basket. And role modeling and demonstrating to them as they're younger how to do it, so that as they get older, you can simply say you need to put your books away and they know where they go.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And it is that role modeling with them or doing it with them to establish the routine, and also for
Yes.
some of them, I'm sure, like to remember what to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Like you said, a confused mind is just not going to do it, is it? Unless they
Exactly.
understand exactly what you're asking of them. Yeah.
Actually, my mum was visiting recently and she got the boy. I've got three boys and the house was messy. And so she actually drew little cards with a different room on each card, and they each had to pick one without knowing what it was. And she said, "You're responsible for tidying up this room." And it was almost like they were proud because they had this card. This is what they had to do. And they were going to show grandma that they could tidy up this room. And I got home, I think I was at work that day, and I got home and they were all like, "Mom, look at this. I had this card and I tidied this room and this boy did this room." And I didn't want the other kitchen. So I swapped with grandma and she did the kitchen and I did this one. And so the fact that she had a room and she kind of got involved, and it was a fun game for them and they loved it. And they were so proud to show me the rooms and the cards and what they did and how they tidied. It was great.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I like that. That's a real
Yeah.
gamification of tidying up the
Yeah.
whole house as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I suppose giving that ownership on the one room rather than trying to do it together. Like I've seen kids when they work together in rooms, my own, but even clients that I've worked with. And if there's several kids in the one room, it's like, they're not doing it properly. They're not
Yeah.
doing this. Whereas that's a great way of doing it, that it's just that one person doing
Yeah.
it. Then, yeah, it's a lot easier
And
to
they've
see.
got that pride to show you
Yeah,
afterwards, "This is my room. I was in charge and I did it." And that's
yeah.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that is really good. So, how can you make tidying up less of a fight? So, that's one of and more of a habit. That's a great example of gamification, which I'll definitely be sharing with clients and dedicating it to your mum. But
Yeah,
what other
she'll love it.
ones? What other ones are there that you've used or heard of?
So the great one is the rainbow game. You just get a big, well, you don't have to. I use like a washing basket. And my kind of way of that I clean up in our house, we've got a play area and then we've got the toy room. They're two separate areas in the house. So I like them. I just expect them to put things in the washing basket and then I'll go and put them away in their little slots in the bedroom. Um, and that's just how I like to do it because then I know where they are. So we'll say, tidy up all the red toys. How many red toys can we find? Put them in the basket. And then we'll do blue toys. Or, you have all the toys that are round and you have all the toys that are square. And so it gives them, they've got their task of what they have to do and they put it in the basket. And then once the basket's full, then we go and we unload it into the toy room. And sometimes they like to help me do that. Sometimes they don't. And that's fine. I quite enjoy that. So that's how we do it in our house. But things like clothes on the floor, I'm still figuring that one out. But we actually in our lounge room, because my boys are still young, they're 3, 5, and 9. 3, what are they? 5, 7, and 9. We have each of them has a basket in the lounge room, and that's where their kind of day-to-day clothes go. So they'll get dressed in the morning and they'll put their pajamas each in their basket. And then when they put their pajamas on, they'll take their school uniform off and put that in the basket. And their shoes live in there. And so that's my kind of aim. Instead of having to go in and out of the bedroom 5 times because they keep getting the wrong clothes, that's the basket in the lounge room. It doesn't matter if friends see it, like I'm not, I don't feel like I need to have a picture perfect home. And that has helped a little bit in terms of they get undressed and the basket's right there. They don't have to sort anything out. Only put it in the washing basket if it's dirty.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great one. I mean, I've done that too as lost properties, picking up bits of things around the house and putting it into baskets
Yeah.
according to whose it is, and then, sorting it out either that day or another day and taking it to where they need it to go. But they
Yeah.
know that it's going to be in the lost property baskets. But yeah, that's a good one with clothes and trying to build
Yeah.
that routine of knowing where it goes and you
Yeah.
knowing where everything is, the shoes.
Yeah. Shoes and water bottles. Oh my gosh. How hard is it to find a water bottle when you're running late for school, right?
Yes, definitely, definitely. And have you got any other ones that you have heard of, or other families that you've worked with have that use when it comes to
I
tidying
think
up?
having like a regular tidy up time, we don't do this in our family yet, but it's something that I have wanted to kind of introduce for a little while. And that's just saying, 5 minutes after dinner, that's when we tidy up. That everybody knows that that's when it happens. And it's almost like part of the bedtime routine is that we just find 5 things and we put them away. Doesn't matter who they are, who they belong to. We put them away and it's just done and it's easy. And by doing 5 things, each person does 5 things every day, it just stops that gradual build up, which is, it's almost like the mindfulness practice I mentioned earlier. It gets to a point and then you realize that you can't live with it looking like this anymore. So you've got to take big steps to get it back to normal, to pull it back. So that's another one that I think would be
Mm.
really helpful. And I know families that have done that, just a regular 5-minute thing. And I don't like to give stickers and stars and rewards and that kind of thing when kids help with just normal day-to-day stuff. But I do think what we have done is we have put a timer on. So we put a cleanup song on YouTube. We put that on. It goes for 20 minutes, whatever. And then after that, they kind of celebrate by doing a brain break for 10 minutes or 5 minutes. And that has worked really well in the past, but now there's always one boy and it changes every time that will sit and watch the timer instead of cleaning up. Very annoying. So that was going really well. until they realize that they can actually watch the timer. And it's actually quite fun to watch the numbers going down. But yeah, that one did work for quite a while with the brain break celebration at the end. And they love doing the brain breaks as well.
Yeah. When my kids were small, I remember we'd play a game after tidying up as well,
Mm,
like at the end of the day, tidy up. And actually, we even did it on a Saturday morning, was like tidy. And then they cleaned one thing. Everyone had, one thing to clean. And that was to music as well when they were younger. So
yeah. That's
yeah,
a bit
yeah,
of
that
fun
was
in it,
fun.
doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's got to have fun. Otherwise, there's no way they're going to do it
Exactly. And
at that
my
age. Anyway.
eldest, he says, I don't like cleaning. I don't want to do cleaning. And I just say, well, if you don't like cleaning, tidying, I'll just take the toys away because the toys are making the mess. So,
Yeah,
that's a natural consequence. If you don't want to clean, then you won't have any toys to be cleaned.
yeah, yeah,
If you don't
yeah,
like to
yeah,
tidy, you won't have any toys to tidy. And that might seem really harsh, but I think it's a consequence of not wanting to be part of the family and not wanting to contribute is if you don't want to tidy a mess, don't make one. And that's
yeah,
how you don't make one. So it's
yeah.
a
And
bit
look, I
harsh,
have
but
seen with families, like even the toy rotation, because we just need to reduce the amount of toys that
mm,
are in that space because they can't tidy. There's just too many to tidy. So by
yes,
taking them away and just bringing them back and then to
yeah,
swapping over really does make a big difference
huge.
in tidying up. Yeah. Yeah. So if people wanted to connect with you, how's the best place for them to connect with you?
Well, I'm on Instagram at Mindful Parenting Lifestyle. But listen to my podcast and see if it resonates with you. There's lots of links on the podcast show notes and things like that. So, yeah, there's lots of topics on there that, from cleaning to sibling rivalry to listening and lots of stuff on self-care and how we look after ourselves as mums, because often that part is overlooked and the focus is always on the kids. And I think bringing back that recognition that we as mums need support and care and love and self-compassion, I think is really important. There's lots of
Yeah.
stuff like that on the podcast.
Plus, lots of interesting people that you also interview as well, which is great.
Yes. Yes. So many
I
points
love
of
that
view.
about podcasts, yeah, and just getting different people around the world who, have different services.
Yeah. No, it's a really great podcast and I love it. Yeah. Check me out. Your Calm Parenting Path. It's cool.
Yep, and I'll put a link in the show notes anyway. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, Nina, for your time and for also sharing a few tips around helping get kids to tidy.
It's because it's one of those things that can be a mountain out of a molehill. And if we can kind of get on top of it in a way that works for us and works for our kids, it just makes life easier. Thank you for
Definitely.
letting me share.
Anytime. Thanks, Nina.
No worries.